Welcome back to Bitcoin Season 2. The following conversations were recorded live at Inscribing Nashville behind the stage at the Blockspace studio. We were super happy to partner with Inscribing Atlantis on this conference series and feature extended, unscripted, off-the-cuff conversations with some of the headlining guests of that conference. Make sure to subscribe to the new Bitcoin Season 2 YouTube channel. Bitcoin Season 2 is the handle, and check out other Blockspace media content, in particular the Gwart Show and the Mining Pod. If you aren't already, head to blockspace.media to subscribe to our newsletter featuring Ordinals Runes, Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin tech content, and insights. We are doing a lot of cool stuff in that newsletter over the coming couple months. And make sure to check out the Blockspace social media. We will be announcing some things, including a conference here very soon. But without further ado, let's get to this interview. Cool. Okay, we're live. I got Brian and Toby, Ordinalsbot, the core team. What are your guys' titles, actually?
Yeah, what's interesting, we're currently going by co-founders, and we're all wearing many hats at the moment. So I'm pretty much like handling all the product side, and Toby's doing a lot of strategy stuff. We've got expert back-end devs on our founding team as well, and so we've not nailed it yet, but basically we're all going by co-founders at the minute.
Yeah, exactly. So head of strategy and lead up a lot of the business and investor side kind of thing. So.
And it sounds like the team's expanded a lot over the past year. How many people have you added to Ordinalsbot in the past 400 days?
Yeah, about 4 people. So we've got a 12-man team now, which is really cool. We need it. There's a whole load of work coming in our way, and lucky enough to get a round raised and get the funding in, and it was exactly for this purpose, right? To expand the team and try and challenge us full on. We understand that there's bull runs don't last forever, so there's like a limited window here. So yeah, we've got a really solid, ambitious plan, and now we've got a really great team to try and execute on that plan.
I've seen you guys pretty much every beat over the past year and a half have like something that Ordinalsbot does, because like a lot of people think it's not just Ordinals. There's Ordinals Runes, there's tokens, there's minting services, there's collection launches, but at each one of those beats you guys have had involvement, you've had a product. What actually is Ordinalsbot as an overall business? Are you all of those things? Are you services? Are you what's the angle here?
It's a great question. I mean, it started out of necessity. It started out of, hey, I'm a creative person, I want to put my stuff on Bitcoin. How do I do that? And this is like January 2023, right? So nobody was doing anything then. I luckily enough fell into Casey and Aaron's podcast basically at the end of 2022, and I'm like,
many such cases,
right? Wow, this is cool, And then, so how do I do it? Okay, you need to run your own Bitcoin node. You need to run the order index. No idea about that. So I reached out to a friend of mine who I worked with in the past. He's a great Lightning dev. Actually, he's worked in Bitcoin many years, and he was already building essentially the back end of Ordinalsbot with the same idea in mind. And then we just put a front end on it and launched it over the weekend, and it was absolutely crazy. So the initial incarnation basically of Ordinalsbot was a really easy way to inscribe things. Drag and drop. We take away the technical burden, and we allow you just to inscribe stuff basically. And that ethos is kind of carried on through everything else we've done, where essentially it's like, what else can we make easy for people? Let's make launching collections easy for people. Let's make marketplaces easy for people. And we've done it in a way where it's always API first as well. So we're an API first company. So we build out our API that other people can use, and then we also utilize it to build our own products as well.
Yeah, and your stuff powers a lot of the ecosystem. Like, it's not just ordinalsbot.com. Like, your API, I actually have not done a checkup of who's using whose stuff yet. Yeah. But, it's a lot of the services in the ecosystem over the past couple of years have been powered by you guys.
Yeah, the early, experts in Leather were using us initially for the BRC20 transfers because it was just an easy API, easy to transfer inscriptions that way. We've got really custom things, like more recently we're working with Pizza Ninjas to offer a really kind of cool custom experience for feeding your pizza pet, which is coming soon. So that was a whole cool thing, and that's fully built with our API. We've got many people also building marketplaces with our API, which I think is a really interesting avenue because, yeah, maybe you want to build a marketplace just for your project or a very specific niche, where things might get lost on a bigger marketplace. You can have your own marketplace and obviously generate your own fees and stuff. So I see the marketplace API becoming a huge player as well, but that takes time to build that stuff as well.
So you're building, what I hear, you're just building everything.
Yeah, I mean, we build things that excite us first of all, right? As well, and when we see a use case for them, and also when people ask us for it as well. So a lot of it is customer driven, and then some of it is just like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? So we literally just announced yesterday also something else, which is called Token Pay. So basically, we're now allowing people.
Yeah, I saw this. I could pay with runes.
Pay with runes, and then coming soon BRC20 as well. So essentially, like a payment gateway for runes, with an API mentality.
What are you most excited about? What you guys are building, Toby?
Yeah, I almost feel like everything, but I think we've been planning for a long time to launch a marketplace in September, right? So we have a marketplace that I think that will be something that really joins up all the services, because at the moment, what's great is we've really, like, I think owned very much like the inscription niche, especially for like high-end things. And I think that when we add in the marketplace functionality with the token pay product, people can then pay with any BRC20 or runes. That we're trying to create a really differentiated marketplace. So I think like where we've been thinking about that is we've got like obviously the 4 megas that we've done really well at working with the Marathon Slipstream service to like do about 90% of the 4 megas put onto Bitcoin, right? So
that's I feel like we could talk about it the whole time. This is one of the most exciting things I think to happen in Bitcoin. Yeah. You guys have delivered 90%. Like that's almost all of them. Yeah. I'm curious about this, like. How does this look like? What does this look like? What do people do? Like, if I want to make a 4 mega, who do I call?
You call Ghostbusters? No, I'm joking. Actually,
you guys.
I watched Ghostbusters on the airplane, so that's why it was on the front of my mind there. But no, you can call us, right? So, like Toby said, like we've been really in the weeds with this stuff, so we've become quite professional at like understanding all of the gotchas that come with this.
There's a lot of gotchas.
Yeah, for sure. It's Bitcoin, right? This is not standard stuff. They're called non-standard transaction for a reason. But luckily, we've got a crack team of Bitcoin devs who really, really understand Bitcoin at its core and are able to construct complicated transactions. So yeah, people have been coming to us with all sorts of different needs. And mainly it's, I want to inscribe a large file because I want to be on number 1 on Ord.io. I want to be the largest file. And that's fine until you're not the largest file anymore, right? So for some context, the first transaction that we did with Mara was our own one. We minted our own BRC20 token.
The big trio token
exactly,
thing,
yeah. And there was also a 500 kilobyte video file in that block, which is obviously over the 400 kilobyte limit, so it was a non-standard thing anyway. So when we inscribed that video file, it was the 5th largest ever inscription. And now we're like, we've rugged ourselves because now we've been offering this to other people. And that video file is now like 25th, basically, because we've just been offering this service. But no, the way I look at it is people, a good analogy in my mind is like, it's like the Times Square billboard, basically. So, you spend whatever it is, 600 grand to get on Times Square for 2 minutes. And then, you see yourself there, then you're gone, then the next person comes in. So it's very similar to that analogy, because when someone inscribes a large file and then they get that number 1 spot, literally the largest file inscribed on Bitcoin, everyone shouts about it, right? It's all over Twitter and it's really great advertisement. So it's relatively worth it. It's quite expensive, but it's relatively worth it for that if you want to use it as an advertising platform. And then apart from that, there's also cool things you can do where you can mint your whole collection in a block just to own that block and all these different things.
I think that's one of the more underappreciated mechanics, the like mint your whole collection in a block, because like DGods did it. That was very prominent, very successful. Some other people have done it. I'm actually curious, has anybody done it with you guys? I forget who's...
No, we've not done collections yet. We did the Mutant Hounds. Mutant Hounds was a complicated one because we had to inscribe the parent and then also put the children under that.
You had to make sure
the same transaction
were ordered correctly.
But in the same transaction, same block. Sorry, so that was a tough challenge to try and get right correct. but we did it, and it was all fine. And then we did runestones, but we actually did the airdrop ourselves. And then on that block I mentioned that we did the first block with Mara. I inscribed 5,300. I threw 5,300 HTML files in there as well.
Hell yeah!
That point to a JavaScript file that I can update later. So right now it's a placeholder with the Trio logo, and then I can basically update that later.
So are we gonna get a Bruff Star collection?
No, I mean I'm but Ordinalsbot, yeah, and I'm going to find a really cool artist to do something special, and then we'll give it away to our holders of our token. Basically.
That's really cool. Like I feel there's a lot of people. I mean, me included. We were there since the beginning, and a lot of us we've wanted to do something of our own, but it's now a year and a half in, and there's not, maybe some of us haven't like put anything out. I have not actually had any of my own work, if ever, but it's cool because I feel like even though the market on top of Ordinals and Runes churns so quickly, there's a bit of a different personality to it because I know that these files are going to be on Bitcoin for forever. So I can be a little more patient and thoughtful in how I do things, which gets into like, you can kind of just reserve your spot and then wait for the right opportunity to roll that out with Ordinalsbot. So
100%.
You talk about some of the engineering challenges. I'll throw this to Toby. Like, it's not, you guys, I would say, probably did not have the internal skill set on the engineering side a year and a half ago to do all these Bitcoin things. This has been, as I talk off camera to you guys, like kind of blood, sweat, and tears, figuring things out by the seat of your pants as we go. What is it like to build the plane as you fly it? What does it look like from engineers? How are you guys doing that?
Yeah, no, so I think we were really lucky, right? Because we had Zach and Brian at the get-go, and they were both two very experimental engineers. So basically, like, had a head of product and a CTO, one who'd been in Bitcoin for like 8 years and just knew Lightning, knew a lot of stuff backwards, and was really good at just like piecing together. He's a very experimental engineer. And then Brian is like the best at throwing together a product and like one of the best engineers I've ever worked with for launching an MVP. It's always like rolling out every week. Like a lot of them don't stick, but the ones that do really, really well. So it's classic like lean startup stuff where we're rolling out all that stuff. But that was also terrifying because they're very much like on the experimental side of engineering. And so, like, our next hires needed to be, like, much more steady devs who could, professionalize the architecture, like people with weirdly, like it's a cliche in startups, right? But basically, you need to hire people who are better at many different things than you, which can be quite tricky. But, like, we've been really lucky to find some amazing Bitcoin devs and like front-end devs to like build a really, really strong team around. But we've seen it's just really not easy as well, right? Like we've had a lot of like probably like 50% of our hires go right and still 50% of them misfire, and we're like, that's a battle for us, and that's quite scary.
Yeah, and it's interesting, like the Ordinals protocol, as you know itself, when it was launched last January, wasn't finished. In case he openly admits that, he's like, he didn't expect it to blow up as much as it did. So not only were we trying to build our own stuff, but we're also up against like Casey and Raf finalizing the protocol itself. So we like made it an internal like note to say, hey, we need to stay up to date with these changes, otherwise we're going to lose out here. So every time there was a new release, we would always make sure we're on top of it and get it released to our community. So that was also a challenge, but one that was welcome. And then me and Zach basically built this thing over a weekend, and it was very fast. So like when the next dev came in, he's just like, how is this working? Like, so there's a whole lot of code that we worked through. But now actually this is like maybe 8 months later. We're in a really strong position. That the new dev we hired really professionalized our whole setup, scaled us up massively, and we're in a really solid position now for like scalability and security and everything else. So.
And on top of that, but like this ecosystem's had to figure out its footing. I mean, we have had several Inscribing Atlantis type events over the past year. The seminal one, I think, was maybe in Amsterdam. But you guys, how do I put this nicely for the other rest of the ecosystem? Not everyone's like out there like supporting the in-person events and like has a budget and consideration for like more communal get-togethers. But you guys have been out there every time. You guys are always like present in these in-person events wherever they are in the world. You're always very like generous and supportive of the ecosystem. Just talk me through like your mindset there. Like that's a very clear decision, and I see it. And I think a lot of the Ordfluencers out there also see it, and that's why you're top of mind. Yeah, I just kind of invite you to like toot your own horn a bit here. Like I really appreciate that.
Well, I think it's a very virtuous circle. We're building a very early industry, right? So I think like we're in the lucky position where we're running more of a business than some other groups, and I think we just see it as we want to be everywhere where like furthering mindshare in the Ordinals Runes BRC20 space, kind of just like I think like this is a movement, and I think you see it with the Inscribing Nashville folks as well, right? Like they deserve a ton of credit. There's so many different other like niche groups around the world, but I think the key really is like, and Brian and the team, we've all talked about it a lot, is sort of how do we actually like get more of a kind of like more a trade body style stuff? How do we get like people collaborating in this kind of decentralized environment to really push forward like an industry with standards, like proper ways of doing things? And I think like it's at events like this where those early conversations are had, and then it's like, how do we maintain the ethos that is really, really fun and community driven, which I think like everyone loves about the early Ordinals ecosystem. I think like we always come back from any of these conferences absolutely buzzing by like all of the conversations. So I think we just enjoy it as well. So it's reinvigorating.
Yeah, and it has proven to be really great for business development as well. Like, you know, we honestly come back from here and it takes us like a week to go through the Telegram posts and everything because it's that busy. But I really like we both said about like the something special about these events, because as Toby mentioned, it's a new industry we're building here. Essentially, we're really we're all the first companies in this industry, and there's another little thing where we're all competing against each other in some respect in different ways, especially Ordinalsbot, because we're doing a lot of things, so we have got competitors, but like we're not treating each other like competitors. You know, we're always happy to see each other. We're always like interested in what other people are doing. It's definitely different vibes that I've seen from other ecosystems in terms of just competitiveness, because we're all really early. We're all just pointing in the same direction, basically. And it's just really great to come and see people that you've been speaking to for a year online, you know.
Yeah, it's because like, you know, I think about the past couple of years, I'm like, man, half these people I kind of was in business with or had business relationships with, and I've had pretty positive experiences, and maybe we'll circle back on those. You know, it's one of those things where because it is so small, I realize like every one of these conferences, like I will probably have to brush shoulders with for many years to come. So you want to be nice. You want to be like, you want to like be collaborative insofar as like you can be as somewhat competitors in the ecosystem. Yeah. So I get that. What's the near term look like for you guys? You know, I'm going to try to get this episode out within the next several days. You got some short term like events, call to actions you might want to get out?
Yeah, for sure. So I can talk about just quickly on the product, and then Toby can talk about some projects that we're doing, and actually we're doing an event as well, so I'd love to mention that. So yeah, from the product side, again, we've got so huge ambitions, right? Like you said, our API will be like covering quite a lot of use cases, so we need to like, you know, focus and get those things out the door one at a time. So the next one up is Token Pay, the payment gateway, and then like Toby said, by the end of the year we're planning to get our marketplace ready, and then that has got to really coalesce our whole API and showcase what we can do, because like I mentioned, we've got people building marketplaces right now, but they're up against it with building their own UI, building all this stuff. So it's like, let's be like we did with Ordinalsbot, let's be like first class users of our own marketplace API and showcase a really cool marketplace. So that's kind of our plan for the end of the year, basically.
Call it eating our own dog food.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of curious about token pay. Like how does it actually work?
Yeah, so it's essentially basically I can't go into the details right now.
Okay,
but
you don't have to. Well.
No, we're trying to make it as kind of non-custodial as possible, and it's essentially like as flexible as possible. So I can't get into the weeds of the technicals. I'm not knowledgeable about that, but in a high level, from the API point of view, it's very flexible in terms of you can make an order, right, and then someone fulfills that order, and then you'll get a notification that it's been fulfilled. So with that being said, you can then build that into any flow where you're waiting on a payment happening. Like, let's say someone buys something, then you can pull our API with that order. Has it confirmed yet? No. Okay, it's confirmed. So once it's confirmed, they can go do something. So that's like a really flexible order payment kind of gateway. So I can consume that API. I consume the token pay API after you launch it. Yep. And I can have people pay with pups or wizards. Exactly, any rune,
Yeah, and still try to like floor it on Magic Eden or something.
That's afterwards. But yeah, that's the idea, because we've seen the reason it came into existence because a lot of people were in our inbox saying, "Hey, can I do a mint with runes? Can I pay with runes? Can I do this? I've got this idea of a custom website where I want to allow people to buy stuff with runes." So it's like, okay, let's cover all these use cases with a really flexible API where we can build it up from the ground up, basically. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we're doing some cool projects as well.
Yeah, and so really excited. Like we'll be doing a full press after this podcast airs on the Trevor Jones mint that we're working on, which is pretty cool. So like Trevor's like a really OG Bitcoin artist. He did his famous Bitcoin Angel. He's recently done like an extension of that, which is these kind of NFT statues, which are not on Bitcoin actually, but there was a collection of these archangels, and then he's doing 7,777 angels underneath. So the archangels are the parents, these very high-end physical statues attached to an NFT on another chain, and then he's bringing he as the guy who did the Bitcoin Angel and has been talking about Bitcoin this is actually his first proper collection on Bitcoin, on Ordinals, and we're doing all these angels, and that's launching in early August. We'll be putting out some press in this episode. So that's been amazing, been really cool. Trevor's here at the conference, so we're going to be catching up with him, and that's been amazing. Then we're also we've got an Elvis impersonator in tow with us for
I was just about to ask if you had an Elvis impersonator. I'm glad you got beat.
So basically we're partnering with the Elvis estate. We are in
Tennessee. It's here. It's down the street. Yeah.
Exactly. So an Elvis impersonator is going to be joining us at our booth and at our party on Saturday night.
I just want to get drunk with the Elvis impersonator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Everyone will do. Yeah. So we'll tell you when you need to come, and he'll give you anecdotes of but exactly. It couldn't feel better being in Tennessee, hanging out with Elvis people.
The thing is, he's like one of the world's most renowned like impersonators, and we're just like parading him around for selfies. So,
yeah. Actually, it's tribute artist, I think.
Sorry.
The Elvis estate.
because the impersonator could be legally died.
Oh,
whatever.
Okay.
Tribute art.
Yeah. Tribute artist. But but anyway, we're dropping a collection with the Elvis estate. The Art of Joe Patricio, and it's going to be a 2000 NFT collection. So Joe Patricio is an artist that is very, very collectible, actually. It's like his work goes for $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 kind of thing. And you'll be able to own a digital version of that for like initially at the mint price, like $150. So I think this is like going to be a very good normie collectible, because it's a bit like the Damien Hirst thing or whatever, right? Where this is art that you can get the digital art for much better value than but it's a respected artist that many Elvis fans will want to own, and that's like, I think one of the pathways of where you see like Ordinals making stuff more accessible for people.
Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff lined up. You guys have not hopped off the treadmill ever since I encountered Brian under his pseudonym Bruffstar online. I feel like we are all exhausted here, but like I still have that fire under my ass. I feel like you guys do too.
100%.
Yeah.
I could use with some real world treadmills. Actually, I'm sitting at the computer all day. But yeah, I think you're totally right. I get up every day and I'm so excited to work on this stuff. And me and Toby got off call sometimes. It's like, what is this life, right? So, for even just the like this Elvis one, Joe Petruccio is a really cool artist. Trevor Jones, I've knew for years. I've always been a fan of his stuff. We're also taking over the Spartacus project as well. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah!
Yeah. So we got in contact with that team, and unfortunately the inscription partners they had kind of couldn't.
Yeah, I know they
put it on pause. Yeah. So we're going to bring it back and totally like handle that for them pro bono, like no service fee, and basically take it over and get it operational again, especially now that he's released.
Now that Julian's out, like this shit is so
huge
cool.
News,
yeah.
So that's been.
I'm one of the larger. I can say this. Yeah, I'm one of the larger like Project Spartacus.
Very cool. So we're actually we're actually thinking about so rolling that back and offering you the new ones parent-child potentially, because we want to nail the parent-child component there as well, and you guys didn't get that with the current previous provider properly.
Bro, I just want to get the WikiLeaks docs preserved on Bitcoin. That's all I want to do.
I've got some really cool ideas that I've been bringing to the team, but that's just one of those things where it's like, what is this life? We're talking to like this amazing team and with an amazing initiative, and and also like Ghostface Killer and French Montana, and like
you get like real rappers.
What is
like,
this? What is this life? But anyway, so that's the project thing's been really cool, and I think we're getting more traction of like being known as like the more high end kind of inscription people service. And one more thing I wanted to mention is the event as well. We're doing Ordinals London.
So we're doing Ordinals London on October the 17th. So Charlie, you should be there. We'll talk about after the thing.
Okay, I'm gonna put on my Google Calendar
just after Amsterdam.
Come out to Amsterdam, stay for a week. We'll do it in London, and there'll be like a really nice high-end event there in London.
October 17th is my anniversary. So
wow.
My 10-year anniversary. We have literally been planning on trying to travel somewhere in Europe.
Okay, nice.
I think
London.
Maybe it's London.
Let's go. And then Scotland. The best thing about UK is Scotland. So
I spent
London's great, but it's full of English people.
Or 10 days in Scotland, actually. Beautiful country. Boys, I really enjoyed chatting with you.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing this crazy Ordinals thing with you guys.
Yeah.
Where can we find you? And tell the people where to find you.
Yeah, definitely. So I go by Bruffstar, BRUFFSTAR on the interwebs, basically since forever, since 2003, basically, since GeoCities, like back in the day. That's my MSN
Halo
Messenger. Was Bruffstar. So I'm on there, and please feel free to reach out to me anytime. And if you're looking to do anything with Ordinals, any crazy ideas you've got, we're more than happy to hear it. We're all about crazy ideas at Ordinalsbot, basically. Yeah, and Toby Novum, TOBYNOVUM on Twitter, and then obviously Ordinalsbot at Ordinalsbot. So you can ping us on Twitter, and it's ordinalsbot.com as well. So yeah.
Cool, guys. Well, let's have a good conference.
Let's go.
Right, cool.
Cheers, guys. Bye bye.